What's going on, guys? Policy Q here. We are live. Just give me a couple of minutes for I am getting something together. I promise you we're going to be going live. Thank you so much for coming through. Excited that you're here. Tonight's going to be a great night because God is good. So just give me a second as I'm setting up here. I'm excited to share with you tonight's message. Welcome for those who are brand new. Excited for you to be part of this. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you a message of hope. Hopefully God can speak through it, and hopefully you could be as blessed as I have been with God sharing a lot of things, and I'm excited. 2016 is around the corner. It is for sure exciting. So I'm just setting up. in Facebook. Okay, once I'm here, then I'm going to set up. And then we're gonna go live. Okay, so you guys get to see like the background before the it's being kind of hectic too. We're getting ready for this. My father-in-law's house for the holidays. Actually, give me a second here, and we're gonna go live, man. This thing is so cool. This Facebook thing is amazing, guys. All right, here we go. Okay. Hopefully, I'm not blocking you. But before we go live, I do have to write something down, which is super important. If I don't write it down, I'm gonna forget it. So I'm going to make sure I write it down here really fast. Give me 1 second. Thank you for being patient with me, actually. So we're going to get right into it here. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Cool. And Rev 21. 6, Rev 21, 22. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, cool. All right, we're going to be going live now, okay? And of course, I'm excited that we are going live. We're going to go ahead and just do it. We're going to do it. Nothing's perfect, but I'm certainly not, but I'm excited. So just give me a second here. I'm just moving it along. Okay, cool. So we are live. I'm going to go live here now. And I guess we're just going to do it. I guess we're just going to do it. So looks like we're good. Looks like we are good to go. We are set to go. Super grateful for Facebook here. 3, 2, 1. Boom! What's up, guys? Policy Q here. Excited to be live here with you. I think this thing is the coolest thing in the world. I'm here chilling with you. I'm about to share with you a message that I preached about last week. I called a perfect heart equals a perfect world. So whether this is your first time hearing it or you're coming back because you heard last week's message, I want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for deciding to share a little bit of your time with me, which is, to be exact, 30 minutes, okay? Because after 30 minutes, Facebook kicks me out. I'm excited. I'm really excited that you guys are here. And, as a lot of us are getting prepared for 2016, what can I tell you? I'm excited about 2016. Hopefully you're as excited as I am. And I'm excited to share this message tonight, right? For those who don't know who I am, my name is Policy Q, Pow Low, right? And I'm just an ordinary dude, man. I'm just an ordinary dude. I'm actually married. I'm not wearing my wedding ring. I should have been wearing it. I was washing dishes and stuff. But I'm excited that you're here, okay? So if you're here today, you're probably saying, what is this about? What am I going to hear tonight? Is this really for me, right? And I want to share with you the different kinds of people that this message is going to be for tonight, okay? So I want you to either turn up your speaker, or if you're just not even about this, maybe you just somehow scrolled down to this by accident. That's totally fine, right? Things happen for a reason, I believe, right? But this is the type of people that this is for, okay? The Bible says in Revelations, right, talks about how God is the beginning and the end. He is the Alpha and he is the Omega, right? Or maybe I have it backwards, okay? But it's true, right? So whether right now you are in a season where you're right now, you've entered a season of struggle. and you're afraid, you don't know how to deal with it, you know, you just don't know what is going to happen next. This is for you, okay? Whether you have been in a struggle season, maybe you've been struggling for quite some time, maybe you've been having all of these problems dumped on you, right? And all of these things are coming into your mind, and you're just feeling not so good, and you feel like, how long am I going to be stuck here, okay? And you feel like you're in that season. This is for you, okay? If for some reason, what's up, Camille? It's so cool that you're here. What's up, girl? Good seeing you here. If you're the type of person where maybe your struggle is coming to an end, and now you're stepping into a new and beautiful future, this is for you as well. And the other day, or should I say yesterday, we got the opportunity to hang out. As we're moving to LA, so it's so cool. But as you begin to start saying your goodbyes, and you close a chapter of your life to move on to a new level, you begin to start to see the people in your life that matter. And yesterday we went to go see my wife's grandpa, who's I think 76 years old. And my wife, she asked him, and she said, so she calls him Papi. And she said, Papi, so like, are you excited for 2016? What's going on in your mind? How do you feel about it? And his response in Spanish, I'll translate it. He basically said, well, I don't have the ability to think so far out into the future the same way you do. I can't really think of 10, 20 years from now, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be here still. And she said she was a little hurt by that, even though it's the truth, right? We all have to die sometime, right? And he doesn't have the leisure to think the same way we do, right? What a blessing, right? To be able to think out into the future for that many years, right? And he looked at her, and she said, I can only think of right now. Okay. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And that's what he said to her. And she quickly realized that, her grandpa, I mean, not saying that she's going to die tomorrow, but, when you start getting up in age, your life, right, has an end to it, right? It has an end to it. And the thing is that a lot of people sometimes think that that's it. A lot of people think that, the ending is coming, and, I am feeling a little sad, and I am feeling a little like I'm going to leave something behind. And the truth is that we all are going to leave something behind, and the truth is that sometimes we just never prepare for death, right? And the truth is that the only thing is that most people don't understand that in every ending, there's a new beginning. In every ending, there's a new beginning. It doesn't matter what season or what place you are in your life right now. I truly believe that every ending has a beginning, whether that's physically speaking, right? Whether you have been caught up in maybe you don't have much time to live, or maybe that your years, the years that are moving along, or aren't going to be many years that you're going to be on here, or maybe you're just struggling through a season, or you're entering a new season, right? Every ending has a new beginning, and I'm here to encourage you that tonight, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. Last week, just to kind of catch you up really fast, we talked about the message is called "The Perfect Heart Equals a Perfect World," right? And we talked about how that there's an admission, right? And even though this may be very hard to believe, or maybe very hard for you to wrap your mind around, that there can be a such thing as a perfect world, which I will be talking about tonight. Last week we talked about, in order for you to enter this perfect world, there's an admission, a requirement that you have to pay, and that is that you have to have a perfect world. A perfect heart. I'm sorry about that. And we talked about how it's almost physical. It's impossible. It is impossible to have a perfect heart. You know what I'm saying? It is impossible to have an imperfect heart, right? Yet God tells us these things, that we have to have a perfect heart to enter the perfect world, which makes it impossible. We talked about how the only thing that we have to do is we just have to surrender our will, give our life to Jesus, and Jesus will make everything fine. It's quite simple, and we talked about that, right? So today we're going to be talking about three things in particular, right? So whether you're writing notes or whether you're deciding to pay attention today, congratulations, right? I would encourage you, right, for the next 20, 25 minutes to really just focus in on what tonight's message is going to be about, because I truly believe that God has the ability to speak through regular people just like me. Okay, there's nothing special about me. As a matter of fact, every time I do these messages, right before I do them, I kind of want to back out of them. I'm like, I don't even want to do it. I don't like, I know this is hard to believe because some of you guys are like, dude, you love talking. What are you talking? Like, I love the outcome of being able to speak life into people. I truly do love that. But I got to tell you something, right? No matter how much I practice, no matter how much I rehearse, I know I'm imperfect. And I know that this message is not going to be as perfect as it should be. But here's what I do know. I know that I believe and I follow a God that has the ability to take my weakness and make it perfect. I follow a God that can speak through me, and as imperfect as this message is, he has the ability to customize it and give it to you in a way where you can receive it and it can make sense to you. And for that reason, there is no pressure. And for that reason, I'm okay, and I'm no longer afraid or nervous like I normally am right before I do this, right? So let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. We're gonna step right into it. I'm just gonna pull out the Bible here. Okay, please, I'm not, I would love to use my phone, but I'm gonna have to go old school here because I'm using the phone to record it. And it's actually in Revelations 21:6, okay? And in Revelations it's actually in Revelations 22:26. So if you want to follow with me, that's totally cool. If you don't, that's fine. You can listen to the sound of my voice, and that works perfectly fine. And it says here in Revelations 22-26, okay? Where am I at? Okay, Revelations, boom, boom, boom. Okay, just gotta flip my page one more time. And Revelation, it just ends here. Okay, something's wrong here. Okay, there it is. There it is. Oh, they don't have numbers and stuff. Okay. So it says here, the city, it says here, I'll just read it. The main street of the city was pure gold and translucent as glass, but there was no sign of a temple, for the Lord God, the sovereign strong, and the Lamb are the temple. The city doesn't need sun or moon for light. God's glory is the light. The Lamb is the lamp. The nations will walk in light, and the earth's kings will bring its splendor. Its gates will never be shut by day, and there won't be any night. They'll bring the glory and honor for the nations into the city. Nothing dirty or defiled will get into the city. No one who defiles or deceives. Only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life will get in. Okay? What in the world does that mean? Okay, you see, I know that sometimes we may think that the Bible is a difficult thing to understand, and I used to think the same thing, but then I realized that sometimes there's so much noise that's happening in our minds that we get to start thinking that it's hard. But in reality, if we blocked out all of the distractions and we just focused, we could begin to see how amazing it is, right? Because what this requires is your full attention. What this requires is your ability to dig deep, right? And so often we live in a society where it is the norm to just be surfacey, right? That's the norm, okay? But I'm here to encourage you, right? But we serve a God who wants to break you out of being average and wants to make you who you are destined to be. So I'm excited for this, okay? I'm excited because I believe that there's a word here for you, and there's a word that's gonna drop bombs. They're gonna ring. It's just gonna be a lot of truth today, okay? Now let's take something that's interesting because we are talking about what this perfect world is about. I might as well start by letting you know how it's going to feel when you are in the perfect world. Now, whether you believe this or not, I want you to just give me a shot here, okay? Because honestly, what else do you have to believe, right? That there is no heaven after this? That's a pretty sad. I mean, even if this wasn't real, right? Which I don't believe it is. I believe with all my heart that this is real, right? What do you have to look forward to? I mean, this gives you hope, right? So anyways, the first thing that I want to talk about, I want to illustrate here, it basically says that, it says something powerful, and here it says that, but there is no sign of a temple, for Lord our God is a sovereign strong, and the lambs are the temple. What does that really mean, right? Temple is normally associated to worship, right? Worship and temple kind of go hand in hand, the same way peanut butter and jelly go hand in hand, okay? The same way rice and beans go hand in hand, right? Whenever there's a temple, you can expect people in that temple worshiping, right? And let me explain to you this feeling of worship, right? I want you to imagine this for a second, okay? And this is an amazing thing that it's kind of hard to understand because you cannot really understand this unless there's a relationship first. If there is a relationship established with God, then it is a lot easier to interpret what this feeling of worship relationship really is, because it is really a way better feeling than any drug. It is a better feeling than all the things that sometimes we can kind of think that they are so much better, but it's really not, right? You see, the way I can explain this when it comes to my mind, okay, is just imagine this for a second, okay? Imagine that imagine the people in your life that matter. Imagine the people that you truly love, okay? And obviously you love them because there's a relationship there, right? And because of that relationship, you guys have created amazing memories. You guys have created great experiences, right? And based on that, there's a feeling that you get every time you think of that person, which is love, right? You think of that person and you just think of love, right? Now, hopefully, and now some of you guys are probably saying, well, I don't got any friends, man. Well, then think of your pet. Think of your dog, okay? Now think about this for a second. Every time you think about that, you recollect on memories that you've spent with them. You think about the things that you've overcome with them. You think of the times when they encourage you. You think of all of these great things, which is the reason why you think, every time you think of this person, you get the sense of, wow, I truly, truly am grateful for that person. Well, just imagine that feeling heightened to the infinitieth power, okay, if that's even a word. But just imagine that feeling heightened to the next level, right? You see, the reason why we need a church, or the reason why we need a temple to worship God, is because God, right now at this moment, we can only enter his presence right through thanksgiving. That's what the Bible says, through being grateful, through we can, there's a certain thing that we have to do because we're human beings, we're in this earth, and there's conditions, right? Although in heaven, it says that there's no longer a need for a temple, which means that we are always going to be worshiping. We are always going to be in the state of worship, which is an amazing feeling, right? And for those who have a relationship with God, just comment below. Just let people know how amazing that feeling is, right? Because there's some people on here, I believe, that don't know who God is, that have never really experienced stepping into his presence, right? But I truly believe that by the end of this, there might be a point in this message where you get this feeling of love that you just can't control, that you just can't wrap your minds around it. You just can't wrap your arms around it because it's so immense, it's so huge, and it's here ready to consume you. And that's called love. That's God. That's what I'm here to talk to you about, right? So that's the first thing it talks about. The next thing it talks about that's interestingly is amazing here, is that it talks about how God's glory is light, okay? And it talks about the nations will walk in its light and the earth's kings bring in its splendor. This word nations, when you look at the word nations on dictionary.com, thank you, Jesus, right, for that dictionary. When you look at the word nation, something that's very interesting to understand is that a nation is a group of people, right, that have marked a territory, okay? A group of people a whole group of people that have marked a territory, right? So what does that really mean, okay? It's basically saying that, like when you go to heaven, it's not just going to be you and Jesus. It's not like it's just you and God and no one else. Like, I guess it's just me and God, like it doesn't work like that. It clearly says that it's going to be a nation of people who have marked a territory, which means that they are all relatable. They're all on the same page. They all think alike. They're all friends, right? And if you think about this for a second, right, what makes your friends friends? What makes you a friend with someone is that you guys have something that's relatable. You guys believe in the same thing. You guys are on the same page, right? Now imagine if the world was like that, right? It'd be an amazing feeling, right? That everywhere you go, there's your friend. And the truth is that not everybody in this world is your friend. There are some people that are looking to harm you. There are some people that are looking to do some evil. There are some people that are just there in your life to cause you pain and suffering, which I wonder who those people are. And hopefully by the end of tonight's message, you can kind of detach yourself from those people, and hopefully God can, in replacing them, can replace them with amazing people, right? But anyways, because of that reason, right, we sometimes tend to put on this guard and this resistance, right, and this wall because we want to protect ourselves from those kind of people, right? But in the process of doing that, we sometimes block out even people who are looking to shine some light on us, even people who are looking to speak love into us, speak life into us, people who are trying to uplift us. And it's not really your fault because we have now decided to put up this wall and this guard and this resistance because we don't want to be hurt. Well, in heaven, right, we have the ability, right, where we are in a nation filled with people that just are all like us, right? Which means that they love us, they care for us, right? Which means that it's none of this stuff that we experience in this world where there's all these weird kinds of people sometimes, right? So that's one of the things, okay? Now, this message is a lot different than any other message that I've preached before. I normally tell tons of stories, but I'm kind of breaking down some scripture here because this is what the second part was about, okay? So the next thing that it says here, something that's interesting to say, it says, nothing dirty or defiled will get into the city. This word defiled, what does this word really mean? When you look at dictionary.com, it basically means something that's unholy, something that's unclean, something that can pollute, something that taints, okay? So just imagine this for a second. Like, you've ever bought a fresh pair of sneakers, right? And they just look so amazing in that box. And the moment you put them on your shoe, the moment you put them on your feet, and the moment you walk out of the store with those shoes, you give it a couple of hours and those shoes, they lose their quality. They're no longer pure. They're no longer clean, right? Because things just get in the way. Things just naturally get old, right? The same way with a car. A car is probably the best example of what you should probably not, a car depreciates in value so fast. The moment you turn the ignition on, the moment you start rolling the wheels, what you paid for that car originally as a brand new car significantly drops because it's now considered a used car, right? So when you look at it, there's so many different examples that I can give you that there's just things that the moment that they're just things that sometimes they get tainted. They're no longer, you can no longer resell a car at a brand new price. You can no longer take the brand new sneakers and try to resell it to someone as new sneakers because they're already tainted, right? They're kind of polluted already. They're not the same anymore. They're not new, right? Now the book here in this verse, it talks about it basically says, it says here, where did it go? It says here, nothing dirty or defiled will get into the city. No one who defiles or deceives. Okay, another word for deceives is people who tell lies, right? And people who tell lies, normally, right, when they're telling lies, it's like a very selfish thing because they're kind of in it for themselves. Okay, does that make sense? Right? And it basically says those things, okay? So which really allows us, and when we kind of think about this, right, it kind of makes us think that there's only people who are going to be allowed in are people who are selfless. But now it says something else, and it says something that you should pay attention to, because I think that knowing and understanding this will then kind of bring more clarity on what's really required, okay? It says here, and only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life will get in. So how do you get your name on this book? How do you get your name on this book? The other day, I don't know how we came up in conversation, but I was hanging out with my wife, but she's the coolest person in the entire world. We have so much fun. I love being married, and I don't just say that because I've been married for almost close to 4 years, but I know that I'm going to say that for the rest of my life, because I don't think so far out into the future. I just think of right now. And if I make a decision every day to love my wife, I know that I'm going to say the same thing. So I love my wife, and I don't know how we got into conversation, but she was telling me a little bit about her past, and she was telling me that when she would go to these clubs, obviously there would be these really long lines, right? But she was actually on a VIP list, and this is weird, but anyways, every time she would get to the front, she didn't even have to wait in line, right? She would just go to the front. The guy knew her, right, based on the relationship, and I think based on her looks, because she is pretty hot, right? But anyways, based on those things, right, she would cut the entire line, and she would bring her whole entourage with her, right? Now, that's interesting because the Bible says that the people's names were written in the book of it says here clearly, I don't want to mess this up, written in the Lamb's book of life will get in, right? So now the question for me and you is, how can we get into the Lamb's book of life? How can we get our name on there, right? How can we get on the VIP list so when the time does come, when this life is over and done with, right? When our life is coming to an end, how do we then get into this perfect world, which I'm talking about, which is heaven, okay? Now, that's a great question. I will be sharing that with you in a couple of minutes, okay? For those who are with me, right, if you're still with me, just give me a yes or, hey, I'm here. I'd love to know that, right? And again, if you have the ability to share this message, I would encourage you to share with this message, because you just never know who may be listening to this who's never heard about God, and you have no idea how your effort and your prayer can go such a long way, because impacting one person has the ability to impact generations, right? Me being impacted and transformed by God's love will now forever trickle on onto my kids, and I truly believe and pray that that God's love will trickle into my kids' kids, and you know how that works, right? It's truly a beautiful thing how sometimes we have no idea how our efforts can really make a difference in this world. In this world. Now, I'm not saying in your town. I'm saying in this world. Because when you have a love for God and you want to change this world and you want to just show more people who God is, right? You have no idea how far God will use that, right? So anyways, let's get right into it, okay? Continuing with what I was saying here, okay? This is so much fun, man. I get so much joy just doing this and just sharing this, But what are we talking about for those who are coming in? We're talking about this perfect world, and we just talked about a couple of things. Something I forgot to mention is that in heaven there won't be any like daylight and nighttime, right? And really what they really means is because the Lamb will be the light, right, to this, and every time we're up there, so there won't be a need for nighttime, right? And night, if you think about night, most things, when people are looking to commit a crime, when people are looking to do something evil or something bad, they normally do it at nighttime, because at nighttime, here's what happens. We become more vulnerable, right? At nighttime, when we're clocking out, when we're deciding to go to sleep, we're deciding to hit our heads on the head, we're not fully aware, right? We're going to sleep. Therefore, we don't have that guard up, right? Normally, what do you do at nighttime? Depending on where you live, right? You put on the lock. You lock the door, right? Some of you guys, sometimes you live in a little shadier places where you have to put the lock, then another lock, then you got to put another lock, right? Because you want to protect anything from the night to come into your house, right? Anything evil to come into your house. And the Bible clearly says that there will be no night, which is also, I think, a double meaning, right? So there will be no evil, okay? Now, as I continue here, something that's really amazing, something that's truly, truly amazing is here in Revelations 14:21. And again, thank you for being patient with me, for sometimes I have no idea what I'm doing with this, right? But I believe God has the ability to use people who are imperfect like me to do something amazing. So in Revelation 7-8, here's what it says. It says here, 7, we're on 7, and it says 8. Okay, it says here, I heard, okay, this is it, Revelation? No, oops, I missed it. Boom, is this it? Is this it? Oh, forgive me. This does not look like it's it, but I'm holding the weirdest Bible here, man. It's like it's such a weird Bible. But it's a Bible indeed. I just don't know how to read this one, believe it or not. Now I feel a little embarrassed. So here's what it says. Here's what it says. I heard a count. How about we do this, right? Why don't we do this for a second, okay? It says here, well, why don't we do this? There is another Bible here, okay? So as you're still watching and listening to this, right? Just checked in. Great job. Keep preaching. Awesome, dude. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining. For those who are joining here, watching this live, I truly do appreciate everything that you guys are saying, and all of you guys who are encouraging me. You guys are awesome. I truly do believe that. So we're just going to go to the message now, okay? This is a straight up truth right here, okay? Sometimes the message for people like myself is a lot easier to interpret, okay? So we go to the message and we go to where I was originally going, okay, which is, okay, here's what it says. And it says, okay, I know why. Duh. Okay, sorry about that. I know why. Okay, so here's what it says. It says here, then he said, it happened. In the beginning, the conclusion, from the water of life will I give freely to thirsty. Conquerors who inherit all of this. It'll be God to them. They'll be sons and daughters to me. But for the rest, and faithless and faithful degenerations and murders. Actually, now that I found it, I can probably find it in here, okay? So just give me 1 second as I open this up, right? How you doing today? What you guys doing for New Year's Eve, right? Let me know in the comments, right? Let me know in the comments what you guys are doing. I'd love to know what you guys are doing for New Year's Eve, right? But now I know why I couldn't find it. Now it makes sense. Now it makes a lot of sense, okay? But here's what it says. Now it says here, it says, and I'll be God to them, and I'll be the sons and daughters to me. Here it is. Of course, where was I reading? It says, "He will wipe every tear from their eyes." He will wipe every tears from their eyes. Death is gone for good. Tears are gone. Crying gone. Pain gone. All the first orders of things gone. This is amazing. This is amazing, right? It's basically saying that all of the pain, right? All of the suffering is gone. It is gone. You know, sometimes we don't understand why we suffer. We don't understand why why we go through this pain. And sometimes, you know, we experience some of our loved ones who pass away, or sometimes we're going through a difficult problem, or sometimes we're diagnosed with something crazy. And before you know it, right, in an instant, our life can change. In an instant, our life can change. And that can be for the good, that can be for the bad. But the truth of the matter is that this thing called life, right? There's something called unavoidable suffering, that no matter what we do, if we try to hide under a rock, if we try to escape from the world, if we try to run away from all of our problems, right, we cannot avoid suffering. Suffering is here, and it's here to stay, and we will all experience it. We will all experience it at different levels of our life, right? Of course, the most obvious one is when our parents have to pass away, right? When our loved ones, the people who raised us up, the people who gave us birth, when they are gone, that's always a hard challenge. That's always hard, and that's always a suffering. Or even sometimes when someone close to us, maybe a younger brother, maybe someone who didn't deserve it, all of a sudden just passes away, and we have no idea. Or maybe we have an awesome job, or we have something going for something really good for us, and all of a sudden it just falls into crumbles and everything is gone, right? Sometimes we just don't understand how life works, and it's unexpected, right? But here's one thing that can be consistent in your life for forever, right? Something that's always consistent is God. And what it's saying, what God is saying, that in heaven there is no more suffering. I know that's kind of hard to believe. I know that it's kind of hard to wrap our minds around it. And some of you guys are probably saying, well, if God can do that in heaven, why can't he just do this now, right? And the truth of the matter is that the reason why heaven cannot yet come down to earth is because of the fact that they needs to come a point where all the people are people that have a perfect heart. And how you have a perfect heart is when you give your heart to Jesus, right? And I'm kind of describing heaven a little bit for you, right? There is a great immense, and she's read it. It's called Heaven Beyond Your Wildest Dreams, and I'll share a little nugget from there. And something that my wife mentions in this book that's really interesting is the fact that that in heaven, right, there's this guy who actually has like a near death life experience, and he dies for a couple of minutes, but he gets to experience heaven. And when he goes to heaven, something amazing happens, right? And the most amazing thing happens. He reunites with one of his old buddies who had died a very horrific death. And when he gets to see his buddy, he saw him shining. He saw him at his prime. He saw how beautiful he looked, right? And they just ran up to each other, and they went to go hug each other. And you know, we're so, like, when we hug someone and we really love on someone, right? There's always this limitation, right? We can't really, like, sometimes we just want to go right through them. We squeeze them so hard because we love them, right? But that's as far as we can go. But in heaven, this guy basically says that they actually go through each other, and they could feel each other's heart. It's like, so it's definitely hard to fathom, right? But you know what? There's things that were unknown to us. You know, there's things that have been unknown to us, and now they've been known. Look, my time is up. I got to get going, but yo, I love you guys. You guys are great people. You guys are awesome. Facebook is telling me to end the video, man. This is crazy, man. Oh man, this is interesting, bro. No, but I mean, God is scripture. Facebook only gives me shit 30 minutes. Something, you know. And then, like, I see, like, Brinker don't speak like, no, I don't think so, because it's the same thing. That's like 30 minutes. But I don't know, man. There's definitely no my best message, but you just never know. Yeah, I'm back. He's actually doing really good with the music. How do they not see it? But isn't this like a camera that you can see? It's totally nuts with it. Okay. Okay. Then